We should call this a taste. That's what we should call it. Monday morning, here's just a taste of how the real world should go. I'm going to get into every NFL thing in about 3 or 4 minutes here, but this should just be called a taste. If the world were run by adult male with penises, if the world were run by logical men and women, if the world didn't care about feelings, and if the world didn't care about some little reporter writing some little article in some little space, whether it's a blog or the New York Times or wherever, this is how people would react. Dana White goes off when a sports reporter tried to get him to criticize his fighter Strickland. Let's listen from Dana White. This is a taste of what the world would be like.
You obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash? Free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people... I don't tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
That's just a taste of how the United States of America used to be run. It used to be where Bill Clinton actually, as a Democrat, and Ronald Reagan actually, as a Republican, both said, hey, close these damn borders, it's dangerous. Dana White was they were trying to put Dana White in a little trap here where they get him to criticize his fighter, Sean Strickland, because of, quote, homophobia and transphobia, and they want to hold the guy that is in charge. They want to hold his feet to the fire. Good for you. Great for you. Look, we get it. It's the world that we live in, but Dana White is not having it. And Dana White's his response is 1,000% uncomebackable. I used to say this all the time. I'm going to say something to you that you can't come back from. And I would say it, and they're like, yeah, you're right. How do you come back on the free speech? I guess you could say, hey, look, Dana, we here in the real world don't like what he said. Okay, we here in the real world should say, hey, look, boycott the UFC. Okay, but this is what happens when you are the size of Dana. This is what happens when you are run by adult men with peni. You get logic. You get common sense. Sometimes you get over the top. Sometimes you get way over the top. But you know what? The only people that are perfect is that little reporter, that little woke-ass reporter. Could you imagine? I just want you to close your eyes and hearken with me, will you please? Hearken. Do me a favor, and we're going to hearken back to a day where somebody said something that Adam Silver didn't like. And let me explain something to you. Adam Silver is the commissioner of the NBA. And like Dana White, although Dana White's the owner, like Dana White, reporters will go to the guy that owns and say, look, the man on the microphone is representing you. In this case, Strickland representing Dana White. In an NBA player's case, an NBA player representing the NBA. You, Mr. Silver, are responsible for what goes on. What are you going to do about it? Could you imagine any type scenario where Adam Silver says, you know what? It's free speech. It's just free speech. Somebody wants to say something, free speech. You got a problem with him? Take it up with him. Well, what are you going to do about it? I'm not doing nothing about it. It's free speech. Could you imagine if that happened today somewhere in the NBA, tomorrow somewhere in the NFL, the next day somewhere in soccer, somewhere in media, somewhere in Hollywood, and it would be squashed so fast, this guttural nonsense that we have. about every little word that you said 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever, is going to get everybody fired, everybody up in arms, and you're hating on everybody. Do some people hate groups? Yes. Do some groups hate people? Yes. We got 350 million people here. But can we play that again? And then I'm going to move on to the NFL. I promise you I'm getting into the NFL because I'm so fired up about the NFL. But I'm also fired up about somebody that's just going to sit there, look these Weasley-ass, whiny-ass, little woke reporters right in the eye and tell them this. Go, Dana.
But you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash? Free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people... I don't tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want, and they can believe whatever they want.
Yeah, how do you argue it? How do you argue that? No, you can't. No, they shouldn't. No, they wouldn't. No, they won't. No. God, do we need more people? God, let me just equate it to myself. It is so refreshing to work here. It is so refreshing to work here because we're never going to tell you lies. We're never going to make up stories. We're not going to have a burning building behind me and I go, hey, look, it's a mostly peaceful protest. We're never going to do that. But we're going to tell you what we think without regard, without not consequence. We'll have some type of consequence. Sometimes the consequence is you get more viewers. Sometimes the consequence you get less viewers. But Clay and Gary and Aaron, they hire people that want to do some thinking. They hire people that want to say, okay, this is what I think. And then they let you think. Then they let you do some thinking. And then they let you do some expressing. How many companies can say that? There are not very many. All right. The NFL. The NFL was glorious this week. And I always use this. Colin Cowherd said this before, and he's so right about the NCAA tournament. In the first round, we want to see Mercer beat Duke. But in the second round, we want to see Duke play Michigan State. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. NFL yesterday, I feel like, and you can tell me I'm wrong, was the easiest betting day of the year. And I'm going to tell you why, and it's based on that analogy that I just used, that Cowherd has used. Water finds its level is a saying that I made famous in the world of college basketball. To this day, I got people texting me or tweeting me, coaches telling me, hey, Dan, water found its level, man. Water finding its level means, yes, Mercer beat Duke, but Mercer doesn't have it 2 weeks in a row against the best teams in the country. And I like Mercer. The coach of Mercer is a friend of mine. I digress. But anyway, so who are the better teams yesterday? Bills and Kansas City? Yeah, I don't know. But we all kind of thought, did we not? We all kind of felt like the 49ers were maybe the best team in the NFC, and I don't buy that for a second now. I'm sorry, I don't. The Ravens were considered far better, 9.5-point spread against, it's a great story, but it went down in flames, the Texans. And, of course, the Lions were seen as a better team, 6.5-point spread most places, under 7. The Lions against the Buccaneers. And I thought to myself, I'm betting on the Lions. I'm betting on the Ravens. I'm betting on the 49ers. And I'm betting, now this is the one that was sexy because I'm not sure. I bet on Kansas City. I had an unbelievable day, but the reason I did was because Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Kansas City Chiefs, getting points in football, you never go against them. Never. You take them. If they lose, they lose. I think Saban maybe lost this year. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is this. The better teams won this weekend. Now, what does better mean? I don't know. I didn't think Brock Purdy was any good. I didn't think Brock Purdy was any good at all. His ball's got a hump on it. I was thinking Craig Krenzel. Remember that name from Ohio State 100 years ago? I think he's a doctor now. But the 49ers are going to face the Lions in the AFC Championship game. Purdy's numbers are great. I mean, I looked this up. He's 23 of 39, 252 yards, a touchdown, no pick. but he missed receivers bad. And I've become savvy enough in NFL watching to understand the difference between an NFL quarterback and an SEC or a Big 8 or Big 12 or Big whatever it is quarterback. You got to put the ball in a thimble. In the NFL, you can put it out here in college. Guys are wide open. And Brock Purdy was awful. Brock Purdy's misses were bad. But I will say this, Brock Purdy took his team down the field and got a touchdown. And frankly, that's what matters. Jordan Love couldn't do it. Baker Mayfield couldn't do it. Josh Allen couldn't do it. I'm just saying. Although Josh Allen got him to basically where you needed, 44-yard field goal. Tyler Bass missed it, but I did not like what I saw out of Brock Purdy at all. It's a really good football team, probably the best football team in the NFC, but I got to tell you, I didn't like nothing about him. I thought he threw scared. I thought he looked weak. I thought his ball floated. I didn't think he had an arm. I know we're supposed to love him, blah, 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 blah. Now, let me ask you a question. Yesterday, I put out, staying in the NFC, yesterday I put out a video that said, look, my beloved Indiana Hoosiers stink. And not only do they stink, but they don't appeal to the fan base. Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions, they haven't been great until this year. And I'll say they're great right now getting to the NFC Championship game, but listen to me for a second. The Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell resonate with that city. Like that city would have been jacked. I mean, crazy jacked, crazy excited, love Detroit, blah, 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 blah. If Dan Campbell were not the coach and somebody else were the coach and they were in this position for the first time since I was a child, literal child. Actually, first time since 91, I think. I don't even care first time since. But you got to understand something. There are certain teams that vibe with certain places. The Chicago Bears 1985 vibed with Chicago like no other team I've ever seen. They were so good, so interesting, so connected to the city that honest to God, there were restaurants damn near opened with every single player that was of any kind of exposure, meaning McMahon had a place. Fensick had a place. Ditka had a place. Walter Payton had a couple places. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's what was going on in Chicago because the toughness of the Bears and the toughness of Ditka, and the matter-of-factness of Ditka, it showed through the entire city. The entire city loved what was going on there. And it's all because of Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell and his football team, Dan Campbell and his press conferences, Dan Campbell and the way he describes things, I'm going to bite your kneecaps off, we're going to knock you in the face, you're going to knock us back, we're going to smile, and then we're going to have at it. That was his first press conference. That's what I'm talking about for Detroit. Now, that may not play in Sausalito, that may not play in Boca, but it sure plays in a town like Detroit. He had haters. He had doubters. He had race baiters like Jamel Hill come after him. He had race baiters like Jamel Hill who, on a day-to-day basis, don't have the courage or the sack to live Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, which is, we judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. The guy on the right, Dan Campbell, was judged by his whiteness, by supposed Detroiter Jamel Hill. Now, she'll figure out a way to make it about herself, but the proper thing to do was like, look, hey, I apologize. I was really dumb. I didn't understand hiring football, and I certainly didn't understand Dan Campbell. But he's had doubters. He's had haters. He's had racists like Hill come at him. And all he's done is continue to coach, and all their team has done is continue to ingrain itself in the fiber of that community. That's why I give them more than a puncher's chance as we go through the week talking about the NFC Championship game. I give them more than a puncher's chance. You know, Campbell and Gerard Mayo is going to be an interesting deal. Campbell came right in and was everyman. Black, white, didn't matter. Mayo came in and he was a philosopher. He sees color. He sees racism wherever it is. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see if it's a winner versus loser way, because right now that guy, Dan Campbell's a winner. Right now, Gerard Mayo's a tonker. Now, people seem to love Gerard Mayo. Maybe he got a bad rap in the press conference. Maybe he got too excited. I don't know, and I don't care. But I know this. I did not root for the Bill Belichick-led Patriots until they became a dynasty, and I like dynasties, until Teddy Karras Jr. went there. Then I really rooted for him. But I'm not rooting for him now. But I am rooting for Dan Campbell, and I'm sure that's somehow, some way, racist. I got a question, and this goes back to the Chiefs and the and the Bills. Why y'all so worked up, Aaron Spielberg and others? Why y'all so worked up about Taylor Swift? You know, the genius behind this show, our friend Gary Schreiber, he said, we were talking before the show, he said, look, this has to be love. Taylor Swift is in Buffalo. That's a woman that could be anywhere in the world, he said, Gary said. He's right. He's 100% right. That woman could be in St. Bart's tanning her ass, watching it in, St. Bart's a good spot, went there on my first honeymoon. Anyway, she could be tanning her ass. She should be going topless on one of the beautiful beaches. She could be in Bora Bora or any of these places. But where is she? She's chugging beers with Jason Kelce, who, by the way, was a star last night. I love the fact, love it, love the fact that we've got Taylor Swift involved in the NFL because it makes my daughter like the NFL. It makes my daughter text me in the middle of the Chiefs game last night, hey, Dad, you watching? I don't even know who you are, woman. But long story short, stop with the, hey, look at her. Good for her. More money than God, biggest star in the world, could be anywhere, but where is she? Buffalo. And by the way, as our executive producer extraordinaire Aaron adroitly pointed out, she has no scheduled shows in Buffalo. There's not a chance she could sell a ticket in Buffalo. If she went to Buffalo, there would have to be Kevlar. She'd have to have the Pope Mobile draped over her. Are you kidding me? They would kill her in Buffalo. But that's all right. We ain't mad about it. Man. How about John Harbaugh? John Harbaugh went straight religious. Yeah, he did. And by the way, that guy played pretty well right there, Kelce. He played really, really, really well. But John Harbaugh's Ravens team looks like the best team, my opinion. Everybody's got their opinion. I'm sure if I'm a Chiefs fan, I say the Chiefs look the best. You get my point. But he went straight religious, boys. Let's hear from John Harbaugh.
Here, I just want to start off with this. This is something that was sent to me before the game. It just is meaningful to me, so I'm going to share it with you because I think it's the right thing to do. And it's a verse. Greatness, power, glory, victory, and honor belong to you because everything in heaven and on earth belongs to you. The kingdom belongs to you, Lord. You are the head and the ruler over everything. So there's an amazing spirit on this team, and I just want to kind of give honor and glory where it's due. With that...
Oh, that's pretty good. Will NBC cut that out? Will the NFL get cranky? Will the NFL get crabby? Will the NFL say, too much God? Somebody sent this, I think it was ML Football, which is a great site on Twitter. Somebody sent me a picture of Mahomes taking a knee before the game, having a prayer. Oh, my God. I hope everybody, we should start every show with a prayer. We should start every show with a prayer to say, look, we're going to fight back against the NBCs of the world that take out when C.J. Stroud praises God. We're going to fight back. It's time we fought back. It's time we fought back against the anti-family rhetoric, the anti-Christian rhetoric going on in this country. It's damn right it's time we fight back. If you don't like it, I get it. Look, probably shouldn't be talking about it on a show. It makes people all upset, but good for John Harbaugh. Now tell your brother to quit cheating. Tell your brother to honor God by not cheating. How about that? Money's important. You got to keep your job. I get all of it, and you did that. Now quit cheating. Seriously. Just quit cheating. A word about Baker Mayfield, please. Baker Mayfield threw for 350. A lot of people are saying what people say. Baker Mayfield showed why he's a backup. Really, did he? Did he really? I mean, I understand he threw a pick late. I understand Love threw a pick late. I understand that both of those guys are catching the same kind of thing, right? Really? I thought Baker Mayfield showed himself to be an NFL quarterback. I thought Baker Mayfield, who is in line, they say, for 40 or 45, $50 million extension. I saw this the other day, yesterday. I think he's worth that. Get off Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love's ass. Every guy that's ever been in this position more than once has done what both of those kids did. I'm a huge Jordan Love fan. Now, he's not going to reach the level Lamar Jackson does it for me. He's not going to reach that level. But I got to tell you, I'm a huge, huge Jordan Love fan, and I've become a Baker Mayfield fan. But let's go to the man, the Gazda. Lamar Jackson threw this little ditty at him, and people were like, well, he wasn't great, really? I don't know. He was 16 of 22 for 152. Okay. Also ran for 100 yards. I mean, that's backyard football, my peoples. That's backyard football. All he did was kick everybody right in the ass. He kicked them right in the ass. He was like the big kid. He was like the Donnie Ross of football. Lee's brother, who was the biggest kid in the neighborhood, running over everybody, kicking booty, kicking dupayage. And he did it in an NFL game. Don't at me. Don't at me. Don't at me. All right, did you remember the other day Texas coach got mad? Was his horns down or whatever, and everybody gets all emotional, and Rodney Terry? Well, his team, he got all sad. He got all sad because Central Florida and Johnny Dawkins, they got to be classier because apparently Rodney Terry, a nondescript coach who fell into millions, is going to get himself all in a bunch, panties-wise. I'm sure he goes boxers or tighty-whities, I don't know. But they're going to get in a bunch, they're going to get right in his crack because a team had the audacity to go thumbs down. Well, Rodney Terry, after his team won on a buzzer beater to beat Baylor, and everybody went completely nuts, absolutely insane, Rodney Terry had this to say.
You know, I had no intentions of trying to show up anyone or offend anyone in terms of, you know, what occurred and, you know, at the end of that game. Johnny Dawkins is a good friend of mine. He's a really good coach. He has a good program. They're having a good year. You know, personally, if I offended him or his program or anyone for that matter, that was not my intentions, you know. I'm a God-fearing man. I lean heavily on my faith. And there are no obstacles in front of me that I can't ever overcome because God never leaves me, no matter in good times, bad times, he's always with me. And so, you know, I think, again, you control what you can control. If I offended some of our fans as well and not handling myself the right way in terms of, you know, going about it the right way, then, you know, I apologize to our fan base as well and everything. And I understand what it means to be the head coach at the University of Texas and what our brand stands for. And I respect every opponent that we play. And you know, have the utmost respect for them and their coaches. So, again, you know, I'm happy about the outcome of what transpired today. We played a really good team that's well coached, that we have a lot of respect for, and we're going to enjoy this evening.
Yeah, there you go. We always got to be a God-fearing man. See, there are three things, all right, that you got to understand. I'm a man. I'm a man is always in there. It's in the past, and God will guide me. Those are the three things that our leadership in this world has been taught to say. I'm a man. I can handle it. I'm a man. Oh, man, it's in the past. It's in the past. And then there's got to be some religious element to it about God guiding me or something. So, good for Rodney Terry. He's a nice guy. Everybody that's ever known Rodney Terry will tell you he's a really nice guy. But him going off on another program because of something as silly as horns down made him and his program look ridiculous. Now, they win, the crowd goes crazy. People should go crazy. There should be horns down. There should be rushing to court. We'll get into that in a little bit. There should be all of this. Who cares? I mean, we'll be all right. We'll hang in there. You know, everybody will be fine. Just let people have some fun around here. I didn't like horns down. I apologize. I'm a God-fearing man. God goes wherever I go. Blah. Okay, all right. It's a freaking basketball game where kids got excited. I mean, you're giving me a headache. Hey, fat women on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition will, well, it'll get you canceled. not canceled in the way you're thinking, where people are mad and we're going to cancel you. It'll make your product go, pfft. You can't screw up the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated. You can't. This goes back to when I was a kid. This goes back to the early 70s. I don't know when Sports Illustrated started, but I started with it in the early 70s. This goes back to every little kid. I am a weirdo. I did not like when the swimsuit edition came out. I'll tell you why. Because it was 2 weeks worth, which meant I had to miss a week of Sports Illustrated, and there were less articles. Yes, I read for the articles, even as a little kid. I know some of you guys got the Vaseline, a bottle of Jergens, a nice night light, and had at it. Not me, people. Not me. Seriously, I was always pissed. It was 2 weeks. 2 weeks I had to go without Sports Illustrated. It was a dual issue. Who likes that? But anyway, so a lot of people are putting pictures of the transgender folk that screwed up Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, the big fatties that they put on there where you're trying to tell us that heart disease is good. But, the licensing group behind Sports Illustrated says that they will continue to serve the public, despite the fact that they laid everybody off. Here it is, the Arena Group. Their statement on Sports Illustrated yesterday, the Arena Group's license to serve as the publisher of Sports Illustrated was terminated as a result of the company's failure to pay its quarterly license fee despite being given a notice of breach and an opportunity to cure the breach. Authentic is here to ensure that the brand of Psy, which includes its editorial arm, continues to thrive as it has for the past nearly 70 years. We are confident that going forward, the brand will continue to evolve and grow in a way that serves sports news readers, sports fans, and consumers. We are committed to ensuring that the traditional ad-sponsored Sports Illustrated media pillar has best-in-class stewardship to preserve the complete legacy of the brand, the complete integrity of the brand's legacy. That's a lot of words for saying you're still going to get your damn swimsuit edition. It's a lot of words. But it appears that Sports Illustrated is going to continue to have a online or maybe an offline, I don't know, magazine. But you keep running fatties out there on a swimsuit edition, I don't know what to tell you. Look, it ain't that hard. Men are simple. My wife, Lee, introduced me to this years ago. Men are simple. Like, no, we're not. We're not simple. We're deep thinkers. We're philosophers. No, we're not. We're morons. Show you, and we'll just drop everything and go, gimme. Oh, shiny over there, gimme. That's who men are. Are you crazy? It ain't that hard. So it's impossible to screw up the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Here's what you do. Ever since the Silicon Valley moved into the upper body of women, there has been no shortage of folks to fill out a bikini. None. Zero. Zip. So you go to some beach, you find the hottest one, go to St. Bart's, you find the hottest women you can, get your star photographers, get the lighting, and put out a magazine. That's it. Instead, we got to do what? What, we got to have Greta Thunberg on there? Instead, what do we got to do? Get some advocate, even the women athletes. Go to Bora Bora. Go find the next Christy Brinkley, for crying out loud. And then, the other part that Sports Illustrated has a problem with, they don't want to pay anybody. Well, they're in trouble now because they missed a payment, but they don't want to pay anybody, so they have children as writers. There's nothing interesting, and away you go. But I think, my wife will tell you the same thing that I'm saying, which is, don't at me about this crap. This is simple. Men are simple. Men are simple. You simply do this. Show hot women, great writing, fantastic illustrated pictures, and away we go. You know, there's a movie called Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And there's a guy in it who sells tickets. He sells, Damone is his name. He sells tickets. He's a scammer. He's a wheeler, he's a dealer, he's a scammer. You know what I mean? And he wakes up one day, he's got the football player wanting to beat his ass, the brother of some girl he had sex with, I don't know. And he goes, I woke up in a great mood. I don't know what the hell happened. That to me is the Ron DeSantis campaign. Ron DeSantis has suspended his campaign. What that means is Ron DeSantis has ended his campaign unless somebody like Trump or gets indicted and can't get out and goes to jail, or if something else happens within the party and he can jump back in it. DeSantis started out in such a good mood, I don't know what the hell happened. So DeSantis, who came in second place in Iowa and is generally regarded as the best governor in these United States, not only suspended his campaign, but he endorsed the enemy, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump said, listen to this is the level that we're dealing with here with Donald Trump. I have officially retired the Ron D. Sanctimonious nickname. All right, yay, Ron. That's the level. That's our modern Abraham Lincoln. Are you kidding me? All right, let's hear from Ron DeSantis.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over.
See, I think he's going to be president at some point. I don't know. I mean, you catch a lot of hell. But here's the problem, and I understand that I am just one. My brother, we had to go to a speech when my brother was in Boy Scouts. I am just one. It was the dullest night of my life. Long story short, I understand I'm just one person here. But am I the only one that says, wait a second, Donald Trump could be in jail? Like, he could be, I don't know, I see 91 charges. All one's got to do is stick, a felony. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. I know Franny Willis is a pig and an awful human being and, all that stuff. But doesn't change the fact that Trump still got 91 charges facing. I'm sitting there going, if I had 91 charges, I would sit there in my room every morning with the shakes going, oh, man, I don't want to go to jail. This thing's for exit only. I don't need none of this. I don't want none of this. I can't have none of this. So am I wrong about that? Would you be nervous? But I do think DeSantis, I think he's going to be president of the United States someday. I think he speaks plainly enough. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. Apparently the Republicans wanted him out. I don't know why anybody would pay attention to Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is now saying that she got teased because she wasn't white, she wasn't brown. I mean, stop it. Stop it. I got teased because I look like this, too handsome. It's the way it is. All right, back to the NFL real quick. The NFL yesterday delivered. The NFL over the weekend, 1,000% delivered. Were they the greatest games? No, but I'll tell you this. They came down to the end. So as we unpack it, that's what big saying in TV, as we unpack this, what have we learned? I'll tell you one thing I've learned. That running back for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones, that's a bad mother. That's a bad mother. That's the kind of guy you want on your team. He's like the Udonis Haslem of the Heat, only he can still really, really, really play. I mean, really play. I mean, make no mistake, that is a tough dude. That's the first take I took out of this. I knew who Aaron Jones was. I liked Aaron Jones. I didn't really pay that much attention to Aaron Jones. Man, I will now. That's a bad dude. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this, same game, bad dude. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has an ability to do things others don't, and that includes Aaron Jones. Like most running backs now have no wiggle. They've got a little burst. Pacheco's got a lot of burst. But I got to tell you, when this goes back to the 70s and 80s, when Christian McCaffrey broke through the line and went for a 32-yard touchdown run, I was stunned because how many times have we seen that same run end up with a guy on his back, 2 yards, that's it. McCaffrey's one of the few players that when he gets the football, I sit up and go, all right, here we go. Here we go. Let's do this. What's going on? There aren't many. He's one. And I got to tell you something else. I like Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love. You can like Jordan Love. You can not like Jordan Love. Yes, he threw picks, whatever you want. But if I'm Jordan Love after a day of feeling miserable that we lost, or maybe a week, or maybe a month, whatever you got to do, if I'm Jordan Love, I am the Green Bay Packers, I am in that small percentage of teams that feels great about my quarterback right this moment. Think about it. The Lions got to feel good. That's my other one. The Lions are not only are the Lions a hell of a football team, but they're a hell of a drafted football team. You can't draft a running back in the first round. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs looked pretty damn good. Why are they taking a linebacker, Jack Campbell, in the second round? They could have got him in the sixth round. Yeah, who's to say? And Campbell looked damn good. That defense looks damn good. Hutchinson looks damn good. It's a tough team. It's a tough team, and we should all want, not just by birthright. See, Kentucky basketball are loved by Kentucky fans by birthright. But even by birthright, there are certain teams that don't resonate with Kentucky fans. Basically, Indiana basketball. By birthright, Indiana basketball fans love Indiana basketball. But this year's team at Indiana, you couldn't like if they were your own son or daughter. Period. But this team, this Lions team, this team is incredible. Last thing before we go, Jack Brewer, 9-year NFL player, team captain, is going to join us. And we're going to talk some NFL, but I got to tell you something else. Remember a few weeks ago I told you Patrick Mahomes didn't respect his opponent and he was just throwing footballs around. He respected him yesterday.